Hi, I'm Rose, and I am the founder of L.P.I, which stands for Lost Paranormal Indicators, and I am here to make a video on the type of haunting of poltergeist. You guys voted, and that's what you wanted, and that's what we're here for. So let's go on ahead and sum this up and make this short so that way it's easier for you to understand. Poltergeist is a German word for loud ghost, noisy ghost, which means a ghost that's making a big disturbance and making itself really known and out there. But lately, there's been some facts of foundings that not only is poltergeist just being a loud ghost, this kind of goes off the topic of a spiritual, and it could actually be a human being at the home. They might be going through a distress in their life, a change in their life, or something like that, which is a scientific metaphor called psychokinesis and telekinesis. This is where it's an individual human being in the home causing this type of energy to form that makes it kind of look like a poltergeist, which you would think it's a spirit. What it is that this human being is able to use a form of energy that from their mind, without them even knowing. Sometimes they don't even know that they can have this capability, which is they're able to move objects and do all kinds of stuff without having to touch the object or anything like that. It could either be they think it very hard, which that's considered telekinesis, that they're thinking about moving the object that they really want to or something like that, and it's a form of energy where they're actually able to move an object without having to touch it, or without them knowing, which is psychokinesis, and they're not even knowing that they're the ones themselves causing this. Now, this is very scientifically, in depth, and it's very rare to come across with it being a human being, because poltergeist in general is a very rare haunting to come across to begin with. And like I said, they're just finding more studies that it's actually a human being in their own home causing that. But I will give you the 7 signs that will demonstrate if it is a spirit that is the one that's causing this. And first things first, I'll give you the 7 things so that way we can sum it down and you'll know more or less if it's a spirit or if it's somebody in the home. Alright, number 1, if things go missing. Say you placed your keys on the kitchen counter and you just left it there for 1 minute. You went to check your phone. When you look back, they're gone. But you just saw that you put it there, and you have no idea how on God's green earth they're disappeared. So, you start searching around the house, but you remember that the last place it was right there on that kitchen counter. Then magically, a few days after, this whole incident passed, it like randomly shows up, not even there, but it shows up in a different spot in the house where you have no idea why it showed up in the garden out of nowhere. That is one type of way to know if it is a spirit poltergeist that might be doing that. Second thing is levitation, which is like movements and, all of a sudden, like say you're sitting on the couch or watching a movie and you have the remote control right here on your right hand side. All of a sudden that bad boy starts to get up and just flies across the room. You're the only person there. There's nobody there. You have no idea how on green earth it just like, I will get it if it's just right here and it slides off and it falls to the side. That's called gravity. But this thing decided to come up like this and just shoot across the room. That's, a movement that you're like, okay, this just happened. That is another way to determine if it could be a poltergeist spirit. Now, another way to determine for a poltergeist spirit is the sense, like a smell. Say, for example, that you're walking across the hallway and you smell a very particular flower out of nowhere. Very strong scent, but only in that particular area of the hallway. It's not your air fresheners, it's not a perfume or anything like that. And it's just a very strong smell in a very particular area. It just comes out of nowhere. That's a formation that it can be a spirit as well. The other thing I believe is electrical interference. This is where out of nowhere, and 3 o'clock in the morning, lights start flickering on and off and you have no idea why. You've checked your wiring, you've checked downstairs to see if maybe the cables are messed up or maybe the light bulb needs to be replaced. Once you debunk this first and you find that there's absolutely no reason to why your lights are flickering on and off randomly at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's another sign that it could be a poltergeist. Another way is if you're hearing random noises, like for example, if you're hearing shuffling in the hallways or, a bang in the hallway, you're alone, and it's just you, and you know you just chilling watching YouTube or something like that, and you're hearing that out of nowhere, you know, you try to debunk it first, of course, and you're trying to be like, okay, is it outside? Is there a train station making this noise? Or is there, you know, did I leave something on downstairs? Something like that. Remember, debunking is the first thing you want to do before you jump to any conclusions. Say that you tried your best to debunk it, but you just can't seem to figure it out. Then that's another source. And another way is also power out of nowhere. Say, for example, that there's this ancient clock that's been passed down for many generations from your family that, you know, it hasn't worked in years because of the fact that they don't make that type of battery for that type of clock. But it's passed down because it means something to you. One day, out of nowhere, you're passing by the hallway, you look at the clock, and it's working. And I mean full functioning working. It's moving, it's on the time, it's doing its thing. You're like, okay, why is this working? You know, maybe somebody found the battery. You know, technology has been advanced nowadays. Why not? You go look and there's no batteries in it. That's another formation of, you know, an entity. Last but not least, physical. What I mean by physical, I mean you're getting scratch marks, you're getting physically attacked, you're getting pushed down the stairs. Now, you know, it could be lost balance, but, you know, this is another formation. Say you're just hanging out with your friend and y'all are having a, you know, conversation one-on-one, and all of a sudden you feel in the back of your neck a sudden burn, and you're like, ow, this really burns a lot. You know, like I said, debunking is the first thing you want to do. You want to make sure you weren't like leaning against the couch or something like that. They'll say that your friend looks and they're like, hey, yo, you got like 3 scratch marks on the back of your neck. And you have no idea how that came about. Or say that you were sleeping and when you wake up the next day you have a random bruise. Now it could be that you karate kicked yourself when you're sleeping, or that you might have, you know, did something and you just don't know. But say that there is no reason to it, that you would have no idea why you have a random bruising part on your arm. That could be another physical altercation. Well, you know, like I said, all this information is just to help you determine if it's a poltergeist spirit, because poltergeist is also known to be coming from the human source itself, like I said, with psychokinesis and telekinesis. This is information that I found online to be able to help distribute this to you guys so you have a better understanding what you could possibly be dealing with. Poltergeist hauntings are very, very rare to come across. So don't think that just because you're hearing noises and, you know, having all this stuff going on that you're going to assume that it's a poltergeist type of haunting. Remember that debunking is the first thing you want to do. Evidence is another thing you want to do. And also professionals. If things are getting out of control, out of hand, like I said before, and obviously, you know, you're having physical attacks and you have no idea why, it is important to get a pro, because then the pro could be able to determine, is this a poltergeist? What type of haunting is it? Because poltergeist can also lead into possibly being demonic, and that is something very dangerous. You know, they're very rare to come across. But if you are experiencing these and you have the evidence and you're pretty sure that this is what's going on, and you try debunking everything, it is best to get a pro so they can go to the bottom of this to find out, is it a person? Is it a malicious spirit, which is, you know, a bad spirit, or is it something more? So thank you guys once again for, you know, checking us out. I tried to make this video short so you can have a better understanding. I'm here. Next week we're going to put some new videos. I'm going to go ahead and pull a poll. Please like and subscribe. And you guys are awesome. Thank you very much. Have a great day.